Hello there, welcome to The Real You. This is Susanna. Thank you so much for watching my videos and for subscribing to my channel. In this video, we'll do together what I call the basic tapping sequence that I'm using in my recently published book called How to Find the Love of Your Dreams, which is available in Kindle and in print format on Amazon in both languages, English and French. And the basic tapping sequence is one of the tools that I'm using in that particular workbook. For all my readers and for everybody else, of course, I'd like to share this technique with you and explain it to you thoroughly so that you can use it while you are doing this wonderful and powerful EFT and NLP exercises. So before starting the tapping, the first thing to do is to identify what you are feeling. What do you want to clear? Is it a thought? Be very precise in terms of what that thought says. Is it an emotion? Identify as well as you can that particular emotion. Is it a belief? Then state the belief. Also, in order to get to be more precise and be more efficient with the tapping sequence, try to identify the place in your body where that particular thought or emotion or feeling is happening. If you feel anxiety, for instance, where is it exactly that you're feeling it? Is it in your chest? Is it in your throat? Is it in your stomach? The third aspect, which is very important for the success of your tapping sequence, is to best describe that particular sensation in your body. For instance, if you want to clear anxiety and you feel it like a knot in your stomach, describe to your best abilities that particular knot. Is it heavy? Is it light? It feels like a pressure. Is it painful? Is it cold? Is it warm? Is it constrictive? When you are working with a belief, be very precise and take your time, allowing that belief to come forth, because you know exactly how to do that. You're expert in having negative thoughts and beliefs. Just allow yourself for a few moments to be in tune with that particular belief and allow yourself to notice and to observe, to become aware of where that belief happens in your body. What is very important as well is to rate the intensity of that particular feeling or state or emotion or belief in that moment when you are experiencing it. On a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is total absence and 10 is the maximum intensity. If it's an emotion, you rate the intensity of that particular emotion or the sensation in the body. If it's a belief, you rate the truthfulness of that particular belief. Once you've done that, once you have identified what's happening, you have identified the place in the body where it's happening, and you have given it a description. How does it feel? And you have rated it on a scale from 0 to 10, then you can start doing the tapping on the karate chop. While tapping on the karate chop, you're going to repeat the same affirmation 3 times. Even though, for instance, even though I feel this anxiety is a heavy knot in my stomach, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. If it's a belief, you state the belief. Even though I believe that I'm never gonna make it, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. The next part will be to use the 8 tapping points, and they are the eyebrow point, the side of the eye, under the nose, on the chin, slightly under the collarbone in this area, under the arm, and on top of the head. While tapping on each of these points, you're going to repeat the same affirmation, either the emotion or the belief. For instance, this anxiety that feels like a heavy knot in my stomach. This anxiety that feels like a heavy knot in my stomach. So on and so forth on all the points. If it's a belief, you're going to simply state that belief. I'm never going to make it. I'm never going to make it. I'm never going to make it, and so on and so forth. Now, once that is done, you're going to rate again on a scale from 0 to 10 the intensity of the feeling or the emotion or the truthfulness of the affirmation, and repeat the session or the sequence until you reach a score which is lower than 3. Now that you know how it works, let's do this exercise together. I'm going to use the example that I've given you earlier, the anxiety that feels like a knot in the stomach. So once we identify what it is, we start with the karate chop and we say, Even though I feel this anxiety like a heavy knot in my stomach, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. Even though I feel this anxiety like a heavy knot in my stomach, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. And even though I feel this anxiety like a heavy knot in my stomach, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. Now we're moving into the points. This anxiety that feels like a heavy knot in my stomach. This anxiety that feels like a heavy knot in my stomach. What I like to do here is to take a few moments right after saying the affirmation, closing the eyes, breathing gently and consciously while being aware what's happening in the body. So this anxiety that feels like a heavy knot in my stomach. And then you breathe consciously, gently, closing your eyes and noticing what's happening in the body. It is in a way honoring that particular emotion, honoring the signals that your body is giving you. And we continue. This anxiety that feels like a heavy knot in my stomach. Again, closing the eyes, breathing deeply. Deeply but naturally. So do not force your breathing, but allow it to become deeper and conscious. And again, this anxiety that feels like a heavy knot in my stomach. Then you close your eyes for a few extra seconds, paying attention on what's going on. This anxiety that feels like a heavy knot in my stomach. Under the arm, this anxiety that feels like a heavy knot in my stomach. And on top of the head, this anxiety that feels like a heavy knot in my stomach. Now, once this is done, you can take a deep breath, you can drink some water, and rate again on a scale from 0 to 10 the intensity of this particular anxiety or of that knot in your stomach. If the score is not lower than 3, you're going to have to repeat the sequence. Now, a very important aspect that I'd like to share with you here is that while we are working with EFT and with particular emotions or thoughts or beliefs, usually we have the surprise that after having cleared a particular emotion, for instance, in our case, that anxiety that felt like a knot in the stomach, we might feel something else. So it is important not only that you rate the scale of the emotion that you have cleared, but also that you identify what's happening in your body. Sometimes there could be a different emotion that comes up. For instance, you could feel anger, you can feel frustration, you can feel guilt, shame, so on and so forth. You can have a memory, you can have a belief that pops up into your mind, or simply you notice different sensations in your body. For instance, from a heavy knot in the stomach, that particular anxiety has transformed to be a particular sensation in your throat. So it's important to be always very accurate, and before starting the new tapping sequence, to really identify what you're feeling, where you're feeling, and how does it feel like. Because when we do this type of work, all these states, even if they're deeply rooted in your unconscious mind, even if they come from far, even if they've been there for generations or for lifetimes, what you really need to understand is that none of these are really belonging to you. It is nothing in you that owns them. So even though they could have been there for a long time, by doing this type of work, they will be eventually released from your neurology. Well, that's about it. I hope this helps. And for those of you who haven't gotten a copy of that book, I hope you're going to get yourself one. It is a great tool. It is a book that you really need to have in the house. It's not about just finding that love and romantic relationship, but it's about you. It's about your heart. It's about the way you are relating to the others. It's about how you are relating to yourself. Because ultimately, what I have discovered in this journey towards love and towards the opening of the heart is that basically your love life is reflecting, in a way or another, your life's purpose, your main lesson, your main understanding. And of course, I'm going to make a few more videos with a few other exercises from the book to give you more support. in your adventure to your heart. Thanks again for all your comments, your suggestions. Don't hesitate to share with me and with us here on YouTube how things are changing for you and what other questions do you have. And I'll see you next time.